The mentality at the net is half the battle when you're volleying. Here are 3 things to think about next time you're practicing. First, when I'm at the net, I'm in control. It's not a goalie. I'm not defending against the shot. I'm the one making the other one defend. 2, I'm not going to make any mistakes in the net. I'm not hitting down. I'm hitting up enough over the net so that I don't make any net mistakes. And 3, I am aiming at the baseline. If every time you practice, you go to the court with that mentality, you're going to become a very successful volleyer. A half volley, it's a difficult shot, but here are a few tips to make this shot easier. First, get low. Get the racket low. A lot of players swing down on the ball, making too many mistakes. Second, anytime you can, move through the shot. Don't stop and hit the ball. Move through the shot. That's going to allow you to use a compact swing and still control the ball. Thirdly, never slice the shot. Unless you have a lot of space between the bounce and the hit, a slice, it's not going to do the job. You want to keep the racket low and just swing through it from low to high. Hitting the ball in front of the body is essential to hit an effective forehand volley. If you keep your body behind the ball, your wrist has to be laid back in this position and your elbow has to be in front of the body. A very common mistake is to keep the wrist aligned with the arm and the racket hit. So hitting the volley like this. This is definitely late and it's going to lead to very inconsistent volleys. Effective volleyers will keep the elbow and the wrist laid back and make contact in front of the body. The key to great volleying is to change your mentality. In tennis, we're always thinking about hitting the ball. At the net, you want to think about catching the ball. When you're catching the ball, you set your hand right behind the ball early and then just adjust to the ball. So the hand is going to be in front, you're adjusting to the ball. It's the same thing with the volley. You want to, if the ball is coming low, you're going to set up your racket in front of you, adjust and hit it. The ball is coming high, set the racket behind the ball and hit it. A good goal is to put the racket in such a position that if you don't do anything, the ball is going to hit it. If you're able to do that, it's going to be so much easier to volley. Set the racket behind the ball, adjust and just push. Set the racket behind the ball, adjust, push. The middle of the net is not always the best place to stand to cover the opponent's passing shot. The general rule is just follow your ball. What does that mean? If I hit my approach shot that way, I'm going to follow the ball and stand a little bit to the left of the center line. If I hit my approach to the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to follow my ball and stand a little bit to the right of the center line. Why? Not because I want to cover the down the line passing shot. It is because if I stand there, I'm covering the best possible shots of the opponent. Let's take a look. If I approach to the corner there, the best shot of the opponent is going to pass right here in the air before it bounces. If he goes cross court, his best shot, it's going to pass somewhere around there in the air so that it bounces in the court. So if I'm standing here, I'm basically one large step from either one of his shots. So when you play in singles, make sure that you follow the ball to the net to be in the best place to cover the passing shot. In order to hit an effective volley, you need a very compact swing. But sometimes just the swing is not going to be enough to impart speed to the ball. So what you need to do, you need to use your body. Ideally, you want to try to move through the shot every single time. So instead of that, if you have a chance, it should look like that. Same thing with the forehand. Instead of this, it should look like that. Every time you can, move through the shot. When practicing volleys, it is essential that you practice far away from the net. I see a lot of players practicing right on top of the net. Of course, they feel their volley great because every single ball they're hitting down on it. But in the match, most balls are going to be low and are not going to be in that position. So an ideal place to practice volleys is at the server's line. There, you're going to practice some high volleys, you're going to practice some low volleys, and you're going to practice also a lot of balls off the bounce. If you practice like that, it's going to prepare you much better for your next match. There's a big difference between hitting low volleys and high volleys in terms of technique. Usually low volleys, you're going to use the body and you're going to use your forearm. On the high volleys, you're using a lot more the shoulders. High volleys, you need to think about them as one piece from the shoulder to the tip of the racket. That one piece hits the ball. Breaking and getting too much movement in the other segments is going to lead to a lot of errors. If you want solid, consistent high volleys, make sure that you're swinging from the shoulder. Using a little slice on the volleys is going to give you the extra control that you need. Hitting the ball too flat or trying to hit it with topspin will definitely lead to inconsistent volleys. However, in order to do so, it's very important that you're not swinging down on the ball or that you're not trying to cut it too much. Simply open up the racket a tiny bit and hit through the shot. That will make the ball rotate slightly and give you the needed control. A big hurdle for many amateur players is to really understand how to hit an overhit on balls that are very deep. The answer to this is the scissor kick overhit. What you want to try to do is you're pushing up on the back leg at the same time as you're swinging to the ball. That is going to stop the momentum going back. So the way it works is you back up, you set on your back foot, and at the same time as you're swinging, you're jumping. As you land, you catch yourself and move forward. The whole movement looks something like this. Make sure that you're swinging before you're moving forward. A lot of times people think that they're swinging forward. No, you're swinging up and then moving forward. A great shot to have in your arsenal is a drop volley. What are you trying to do? The ball is coming fast and you're trying to take the speed of the ball and slow it down so that the ball barely passes the net. How do we do that? We set up like a regular volley, racket in front of you, and then as you make contact with the ball, you're going to loosen up your wrist a little bit and go under the ball a little bit. So the ball is going to have a little bit of slice. You don't really slice the ball, you don't cut it. Your strings are pointing at the ball. As the ball hits it, you just take a little bit of that pace off. A good exercise to practice this is the following. Set and try to catch the ball on the strings. The next ball, you're going to try to do exactly the same, but just go a little bit forward. Let's do it again. Set, turn, and try to catch the ball on your strings. The next one, you set, and you turn, and you move it forward. The same idea is the backhand volley. Exactly the same. You set the racket, and then just go under it a little bit. Let's try it with the exercise. Catch the ball. And same idea, just move forward under the ball. Catch the ball and set the racket and over. Another very important shot in tennis is the topspin volley, especially in modern tennis. You see it a lot on the women's tour. This is how you usually use it. You're hitting from the ground, there's a short ball, you hit a very forcing shot, you see the opponent in trouble, you move forward, you see that they're going to lob it, you start moving forward, you don't really have time to hit an overhit, but you really want to finish the point. So what you're going to do, you're going to try to set up as if you're hitting a shoulder level ground stroke and catch that ball at shoulder level, hit it powerfully and with a lot of topspin. That's normally, with a little bit of practice, that is normally a point for you. So make sure that you practice some topspin volleys next time that you're on the court. Regular topspin shots, same as you do on the baseline, but just catching the ball in the air.